Hello, aloha, bonjour, what's crackin'? Greetings. This is Unhost bringing you a build I've created on the Path of Exile beta realm that I like to call 7-link Stormcall Totem Destroyer Girl PoE, and she's great. So this build utilizes an extremely underused and underrated chest piece called Soul Mantle, which gives you an additional 7-link if you can afford to 6-link it or get lucky enough as I did. 6-link this extremely early, and honestly I was really just going for a 5-link, but basically, like I said, a potential 7-link for totem builds, and either lets you cast 3 totems, or in my case, completely avoid the Ancestral Bond Keystone altogether. Therefore, I'm able to spend more points at nodes that will let me do more damage and attain more survivability. All at the cost of, well, nothing. If I can keep my flask management up to par by keeping curses off of me, taking advantage of the Surgeons of Warding affixes on most of my flasks. As most of you probably already know, Soul Mantle has a unique property where it will inflict a random level 20 curse on you when your totem dies or expires, which doesn't come in the wording of the chest, but it's pretty much the same thing, and the Surgeon's mods allow me to gain flask charges whenever either my totem crits or when I crit with my Ice Spear. Of course, I'm using my Ice Spear with greater multiple projectiles and power charge on critical so that I can keep up power charges for more crit chance. And another absolutely insane reason why I use this chest is it lets me do damage with my Ice Spear, because Ancestral Bond does not let you deal damage with any other skills, and having this chest will let me do just that. So I can swap in such things as Prolif with my Ice Spear, although my cast speed will obviously be slower without a faster casting gem. And to be honest with you, I really don't need all the power charges. I already crit almost every time with the new crit chance of Stormcall, which is now 6. It used to be 5 before a patch in the beta, which is incredible, which is why I decided to go this build. I've tried this build before, and really all I was missing was just the crit chance, and this is such a nice upgrade. But basically we just couple all the crit chance that we can get with the new crit chance of the base gem. As I said, 6%, absolutely amazing, and we take advantage of a extremely sick node called Shaman's Dominion. Gives you 100% global crit chance for 4 seconds when you summon a totem, and it gives you a little bit of multiplier, which is always good. Now I'll talk about in just a bit why that 4 seconds is so important and so incredible for this build. We've also got nodes like 20% crit chance with totem skills, a little bit of crit chance and totem damage leading up to the main node. It's just mind-blowing how good this node is specifically for this build. But as far as the tree is concerned, we obviously pick up nodes dealing with spell damage, lightning damage, spell critical chance, spell critical multiplier, cast speed, increased AoE, mana and mana regen, very, very important, especially for totem builds, and of course energy shield, as I built this character to take advantage of Chaos Inoculation, which gives me a decent life pool, and allows me to use 100% utility flasks, which is super important. And being a totem-based build, I rarely get hit or stunned, so that's another reason I moved away from the life-based survivability. Now to talk about the upsides of the build, they include extremely high burst damage, defense in the form of dual totems, nearly 100% flask uptime, massive AoE, the ability to permanently freeze almost every pack in most cases, rares and bosses using Herald of Ice coupled with Wrath, and I think it's pretty sick, but I'm always striving to keep my power charges up, keep mobs cursed, and taking advantage of Vol Clarity, because totem builds are obviously very expensive in the mana department, and it's extremely taxing since we have less duration linked to our main skill. Now since I've mentioned less duration, this dips into the positives and the negatives of the build. The positive aspect of using less duration, which I think is a must, is it nearly doubles our output damage by bringing down the storm calls almost twice as fast, and it takes advantage of Shaman's Dominion, the insane node I was talking about earlier, by giving us around 95% uptime on our global crit gained from the node, all at a cost of having the lives of our totems, well, the pseudo life, if you will, the time that they can remain up. Normally totems will last 8 seconds before they expire, as you can see here at the very bottom. Totem lasts 8 seconds, and when we have less duration in, they last 4.1 seconds. This is a level 19 reduced duration. I think with a level 20 reduced duration, this will be exactly 4, which will be 100% uptime on Shaman's Dominion. So it's just incredible. It pairs so perfectly with this build. And I know, I'm so sorry. I said reduced duration about 3 times, but I meant less duration. It's the same thing. Hopefully you don't get confused. It used to be called reduced duration and they changed it. But anyways, getting back on track, I rarely need to cast a totem more than once per pack because of just the insane burst damage, but you know, of course, unless we're up against like a rare with high resist or a boss, then we'll probably need a curse and, you know, cast 3 to 4 totems at max. But, you know, in most cases, this build can one-shot most rares. And now to the downsides of the build. The downsides are essentially just mana and mana regen. Being in the beta, it's obviously hard to get gear with all of the stats that you would like to take advantage of, and my gear setup is really not that optimal, but then again, my gear isn't really that horrid. But each time I place a single totem, it costs 139 mana from my mana pool, and one totem will usually, like I said, just decimate a fairly big pack of whites or blues, and in most cases rares. And we want to keep curses up as much as we can as well. It's also very helpful. It doesn't give us power charges, but it's very nice. But in most cases, we'll lay down 2 totems, and whenever we get a chance to take out a rare or a unique mob, it doesn't leave us much mana to spend on cursing with Ice Spears or Lightning Warping around, and that's why I use Vol Clarity. Vol Clarity is my Vol skill of choice, and I can almost keep it up 100% of the time, honestly, if I don't play like a lazy slob. We're basically testing this build in softcore because I don't really see the point of doing mundane testing in a hardcore beta realm. I just don't get it, so I don't use Vol Discipline. I don't even use regular Discipline, which can arguably Vol Discipline can arguably be one of the most powerful Vol skills that exist for CI or low life, or even just a hybrid build, in a hardcore setting, of course, or for softcore. But if I were to bring this build to hardcore, I would definitely use Vol Clarity. I'd probably just pair the 2 together, and you know, bypass the 100% uptime on Vol Clarity and allow the Vol skills to just share souls. Another problem with the build, believe it or not, is Reflect. It's somewhat an issue. My totems can often one-shot or two-shot themselves depending on how high or low the lightning damage decides to roll on that particular crit, but it can be kind of annoying, to be honest. Moving right along to our gear selection, the no-brainer weapon of choice is a Divinarius. No-brainer. We utilize the global crit chance from the implicit, the spell damage, the spell crit, the AoE, which is its best stat. We want all the AoE we can get to just destroy packs. So, no brainer, Divinarius, BIS. So, our helmet's decent. It's just basically the reason I went CI is because I just had nice CI gear laying around. I had high ES pieces just sitting around. You can go life, you can go low life, you can go hybrid, whatever you want to do with this build. I just think going CI is the best option. You can get more bang for your buck. Yeah, we have strength crafted onto the helmet because you're going to need strength with stuff like less duration, increased duration. They require a lot of strength. So on your jewelry or really just any piece, try to get some strength. Probably going to need some dex too. So I try not to get any of that on the tree. It's just wasted. I'd like to get gear with that stuff on it. My shield's probably my worst piece. We're going to want something like really high spell crit, mana regen, spell damage, mana, high block chance is nice, high ES. My shield's not very good, but if you were to find a shield, I think number one, you'd be looking for over 100 spell crits. Mana and mana regens, very good. Obviously spell damage, that's just the stuff that you're going to want to be focusing on. So shields are going to be pretty hard to find that are going to be perfect for this build, but if you've got an unlimited budget, obviously you can get a mirror-worthy one or, you know, something like that. But not a huge deal. Our gloves, also a weak point. I have to make up for a lot of resist on my gloves. Otherwise, I'd be using something like Malagaros or Voidbringers. Malagaros I would be using in a standard league. If I were in a standard league, Malagaros I think would be best in slot. Maybe even a hardcore league, depending on if you were CI life-based, low life, or hybrid. I think that they give you the most damage. Voidbringers, on the other hand, will let you crit much more, but the big problem with Voidbringers is your mana cost is going to be pretty funkin' ridiculous. It's almost going to be unmanageable. So Voidbringers, if you can afford the gear that can let you have the luxury of using Voidbringers, then 100% boom, Voidbringers the way to go in my opinion. It's really just preference of choice. So I also get mana from these gloves, which I need. I just need all the mana I can get. You'll see whenever we do a map a little bit. Belt, ES, resist. What else? We got Rainbow Strides. These are just nice and easy boot to get in any league. Makeups for resist, move speed, ES. They also give you mana, which is nice. Rings, neck, pause on them if you want. They're not that good. They're just stuff I had lying around, like I said. So for our flasks, being CI, we definitely need bleed immunity. All my flasks have surgeons, because you'll see, like I said, once we do a map, you can just see how much my flasks shoot up. Now, one-shotting packs is actually putting us at a disadvantage for keeping flasks up, because we really don't get that many flask charges when we're one-shotting packs. But I mean, you really don't need them when you're one-shotting stuff. Now, we also need freeze immunity, since we're not using any kind of dream frags or anything like that. So I decided to put that on the Sapphire. Quicksilver, obviously you want to get around fast, gotta go fast, gotta stay curse immunity. Now, I would probably take shock off of this. It's just the thing I could not roll. I tried so many ults on this flask to get Surgeons of Warding, but grounding's not bad, you know, who wants to be shocked? And obviously Surgeons of Warding on our Ruby Flask. Now for my personal gym setup, you guys can choose whatever you would like. I've got Lightning Warp, faster casting, less duration, gotta go fast. We've got Ice Spear, which I've been meaning to level up. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Power Charge on critical, GMP, and faster casting. And as I said earlier, you can switch this out with Ellie Prolif, which I'll do in a map in just a minute. I can show you guys exactly how that works. It's just ridiculous. We got Assassin's Mark with faster casting and reduced mana, because curses cost a lot, and reduced mana can finally be put to use. It's not a garbage gem, trust me, it's really not. And we've got Clarity with Fortify and Summon Ice Golem. It gives him a little more survivability. And we've got Discipline. This is just sitting here to level, in case I want to pop it on over a Wrath, in case we're in a very scary map. Vol Clarity, Herald of Ice, Increased Duration, and Wrath. In our main links, we've got Stormcall, which is very important that you get 20 quality on it, because you get 10 AoE. It's a new quality. It used to be, I think, crit chance. Now we've also got faster casting, which is also really good to get quality on. Lightning Pin, increase crit damage for some more multiplier, because we really don't grab that much multiplier. We're right at about 400. Increased AoE and less duration. So now that all the boring shit's out of the way, let's go ahead and throw in a white map just to show you guys how this performs. I'm kind of broke and I don't have anything higher than a 70 map, unfortunately. Well, this literally just happened. Why would I be recording when that happens? Anyways. Now, I really wasn't generating many power charges at the beginning of the map. I wanted to show you guys what it was like without the power charges and without the ice spears. But as you could tell, the ice spears, even at level 6, were still freezing pretty much everything. Now, I'm going to show you what it's like with Prolif in. It's actually pretty insane. So right there you guys kind of saw the annoyance of Reflect, as well as the downside of not casting your totems and playing aware, because when we had the boss up, our totems went down pretty quickly and we weren't able to get them down as quick as we should have. Another little side deal we've been messing with is just experimenting with the new Shock Nova, the Arc Totems, and Spark Totems. I'll show you guys a little snippet of that right quick. So the first thing we'll try is the new Shock Nova, which is complemented well by the AoE that we get on the tree. We pretty much take advantage of everything that Stormcall does, and it really doesn't have a red socket, and I have 1 chrome to my name. So we're just going to stick Life Leech on for the 7 link, and I actually really enjoy this. I think it's pretty amazing. The only bad part is each totem costs like 200 mana. But that's not a problem with Vault Clarity. Of course. Perma-freezing most stuff except rares. Not really the same amount of clear speed, but quite good. No dead zone. No annoying dead zone. Really glad they mixed that up. But still pretty decent. Not generating any power charges. We would crit a lot more with more power charges, but you know how that goes. Gotta play lazy sometimes. I think Shock Nova totems are actually pretty damn good, but let's give Arc a try. Now we have a level 18 Arc, which chains 5 times. I think these are actually pretty nice, especially with the crit. Now, we're not going to be able to decimate packs like we should with other skills like Shock Nova or anything else that involves AoE, because we're only chaining 5 times. This single target is just complete butthole, as you guys can see here. That's really a big downside with Arc in the first place, but it's okay. Maybe what you can do with this is have a single target instead of your Ice Spear. Just have some kind of single target that does really high damage, and have dual crit Arc totems with this chest. Otherwise, it's actually not that bad for clearing packs. It's really not that bad. Especially with dual Arc, you're chaining 10 times between a pack with 2 totems down, so it's really not that bad. And while we're at this box, I want to show you guys why this is the best box opening skill. Hopefully we get a crit off. Well, it kind of dispersed a little bit, but I think you catch what I mean. Reduced duration for the loss. Now we'll give dual Spark Totems a little shot. We'll throw increased duration in there for now. Of course, it would be a lot better with Proj Speeds on the tree. Proj Speeds. Yeah. But we're really not benefiting from the AoE whatsoever. But yeah, here's Spark Totems. They're not terrible, but my build's not really set up for it. It's really not that bad damage. I think Spark Totems are back, boys. We don't have fork in here. We don't have any kind of chain or fork, but just as it is now, it's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. if you guys have any kind of questions about the build or anything at all, shoot them down in the comments below. I'll make sure I answer them for you. So thank you guys very much for checking out the video. Hopefully, hey, a turtle. Hopefully you guys can try out the build. I think it's one of my favorite builds that I've tried. I love Stormcall, I love Totems, I love CI, I love Witches. They're beautiful. But regardless, thanks again. I apologize for not being able to stream. I just moved. My internet is pretty shitty, and I won't be able to stream for a while, so hopefully you guys will take these YouTube videos and cherish them. I really hate not being able to stream. Also got a new job, which really sucks. I have to work a lot, but enough about me. Thank you again, guys. Have a great rest of the day. I'll catch you later. Adios!